Welcome back everyone, Mariah Monetize here. In today's video, we are going over the big announcement that Celsius has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So we're going to be talking about what this means moving forward and the information that we'll now be able to access since this has taken place, and just kind of the fine details of exactly what's happening. So at about 8:37 p.m. last night, I got the email that Celsius has decided to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So this is actually the same thing that Voyager has done. I believe they have the same legal team actually that is dealing with these proceedings. So that's kind of an idea. If you're someone that's also having an issue with Voyager, had funds on Voyager, we might see very similar things pan out. But within a week of Voyager filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, they kind of gave people a plan of exactly what their plan of action was. We haven't yet seen that from Celsius, but considering that they're dealing with the same legal team, we might be able to anticipate that in the next week. So what's going to happen is we will have finally more transparency on exactly what's happening behind the scenes at Celsius when it comes to the books. Is there going to be a huge hole in the books? Their balance sheet will be exposed, so we will be able to get information there, which I don't really think it's going to be that positive. Why? There were companies that had the opportunity to purchase Celsius, FTX, many other companies. Nobody wanted to buy Celsius. So I'm assuming that Celsius probably were seeking options to be bought out and nobody wanted Celsius. So that's telling me the books probably don't look all that good. We're also gonna have more transparency around if executives were being paid in sell tokens and if they were pumping the coin while also trying to sell it off. So we will have more insight there, which will really give us a good idea of how these people have acted ethically. So Celsius has said today's filings follow the difficult but necessary decision by Celsius that last month to pause withdrawals, swaps, and transfers on its platform. Let's see here. So to be paid in full while leaving others behind to wait for Celsius to harvest value from illiquid or longer term assets, deployed activities before they receive a recovery. So it's been a month since we have not been able to withdraw from Celsius. These Chapter 11 cases provide the company with the best opportunity to stabilize the business, consuming a comprehensive restructuring transaction that maximizes value for all stakeholders, and emerge from Chapter 11 positioned for success in the cryptocurrency industry. I think it's probably going to be highly unlikely that we get, like I've mentioned from the beginning, I've always thought it's going to be highly unlikely to get 100% of our funds back. If we can even get 50% back, that will be a good possibility. Something to consider is this. Celsius has had the two different wallets. They had the Earn wallet, which is a wallet that earns you interest, and also the Custody wallet. There is a possibility that the Custody wallet might be prioritized in paying back people. So that's something to consider there as a possibility. So if you want to go to this link down here at the bottom, this Stretto, basically that will take you here, and then you can see basically all the related documents. And what we can see here is that Pharos, which is a company in the Cayman Islands, that they have an unsecured claim of $81 million. There's basically just a list here of all of the different unsecured claims. And then we also see down here Alameda Research for $12 million, and it kind of just goes on and on and on. So Celsius has reported having, what was it, about $167 million of cash on hand. They've also stated that they are going to keep employees and continue to pay them benefits. I don't know exactly how many team members Celsius had, but in my opinion, there's probably just a handful of people necessary to continue with the Chapter 11 process, people that are going to be working directly with regulators. So it would only make sense that a lot of people get cut and that Celsius removes majority of their staff, because in my opinion, they are prioritizing the employees, which were part of the problem why the company has gone under, versus us as depositors. So like I said, 167 million cash on hand to support certain operations during the restructuring process. The company has filed motions with the court to allow it to continue operating in the normal course so it can pay employees continued benefits. A little bit of a red flag in my opinion. Celsius is not requesting authority to allow customer withdrawals at this time. It says customer claims will be addressed through the Chapter 11 process. And the Kirkland and Ellis LLP is serving as legal counsel. Centerview Partners is serving as financial advisor. And Alvarez and Marcel is serving as restructuring advisor to Celsius. So that's kind of the situation there and information that we have thus far. The problem with Chapter 11 is that Celsius basically is declaring ownership of all assets. So obviously this is the first time for me. I'm not a legal professional, so I myself am just waiting to get more information. I have sought out a little bit of advice to see if there's anything that I should do in the meantime, so waiting to hear back there. And I'll be sharing with you guys if there's anything that you should maybe take into your own hands with this particular situation. So how does this compare to other situations? I mean, when we reflect back on the Ponzi schemes that happened back in 2018, there was nothing that happened. I mean, these companies just literally disappeared. There was no bankruptcy filing. There was absolutely nothing. So at least there's something a little bit more legit happening here. It's the beginning of what's going to be probably a long, dragged out process. So hopefully we can recover at least some of our funds, obviously rooting for all of you guys as I myself have a significant amount of funds on Celsius. So that is all that I have for you today. As always, go out there and create a portfolio that you love.